Hello, fine people. Tonto Garlic Wizard here, and today I'm going to show you how to trim cilantro or parsley. Either way, both of them grow very similar, and I trim them the same way to get the same effect. Now, you don't have to trim cilantro and whatnot to have it grow well. It'll grow as long as you maintain it decently. And if you just want it around for aesthetic or smell, or you don't use much of it, then this probably isn't the most useful thing. But if you want a lot of cilantro and you want your plant to get real bushy so you have a lot, you want to make sure that you trim it right so that you can insinuate, or not insinuate, but you can kind of tell the plant how you need it to grow. And when you don't do that and you trim it kind of wrong, or not wrong, but you don't trim it the way I'm gonna show you, you end up with these really long stems with mostly no leaves, and these will just keep growing out and they'll get real long and just have like a bit of leaves on the end, a little bit of cilantro. And you can use the stem, you know, it tastes the same, but if you want more of just the leaves and whatnot and you want a bushy plant, then you have to trim it a certain way to get the plant to want to grow that way. So really what you want to do is you want to notice that cilantro or parsley grows in threes, like in the symmetry of threes. So you can see this little nidge, this ridge, whatever, the little nub down here, and from that nub you have one stem, or you have two leaves that sprout off on the side, and then another one. So it's 1, 2, 3. And how it'll always be is there'll be two, and then there'll be one, and the two will often be smaller than the one, and there will always be that one bigger one. And if you want your plant to get bushy, what you want to do is, especially you do this from the beginning, it helps more, and you keep doing it as you go on, you trim that one bigger stem and you leave the two smaller ones. So that way the plant will stop giving nutrients to that bigger one and stop making it grow just straight out like this with a few leaves branching off the side. Instead, now it's going to divert its nutrients to these two leaves, and those are going to grow out in each direction. And then from those, you're going to, at the end, you'll get another 3 plants sprouting out. You get another 3, and then you chop off the one and you get another 2 stems. And that'll cause the plant to grow more wide, to have more leaves, and be just overall bushier and give you more cilantro to use. And you just kind of go around and you look at all the little things. You don't want to trim them when they're too small, but once they get about like this big, you don't want it to divert too much nutrients into that big stem. So chop off the big one, and then, you know, you keep all your trimmings and just use those for your cooking, whatever you cook later in the day, or save it in a little plastic bag. As long as your house isn't too hot, they should last a few days in just a plastic bag if you try and drain some of the air out of it. And I just go around the plant and, you know, chop off the bigger ones so that it'll just grow out more. Because you can see this is it's sprawling out a little bit, but mostly it's just growing up, and it's going to keep growing up, and these stems are going to keep just getting long and sagging off to the side. And it's not great for the plant, especially when it gets hot, because you won't have a lot of shade. The plant won't have a lot of shade for itself. Here, this is a good example of why you need to trim it this way. You can look at this one. Those are the 2 leaves, and this is the 3rd big branch. And this big branch is already about to start another trifecta there. So I want to cut that off before that happens, so that those can actually grow out, sprawl out. And you can see this one, it's happening here. This is going to get really long if I don't trim it. There's 1, 2. Yeah, there's 1, 2, and then 3, and this one's big as fuck. Okay, a little late to trim it. We just got this the other day. We have a lot of parsley, but lacking the cilantro department. So we just got this the other day from like Home Depot or wherever the fuck. And what's it called? Normally Home Depot does not trim their plants very well. I don't know who they have up in there trimming that shit. It's probably not everywhere too. The one by my house is well, they don't trim things very well there. Not all the plants, at least. My rose bush was pretty fucked up when I got it, but it's starting to recover and show new signs of growth. And sometimes these get out of hand and you gotta set yourself back a little bit, make your plant smaller, but I'll help it sprawl out. This one's actually growing pretty weird looking. I haven't seen a lot sprout out like this. Normally they're pretty slow going, but they'll get pretty big. You can get your cilantro to be like a whole bush, a big old pot like that if you want, and you'll have a whole shit ton. And that's good enough for now. Sometimes I do cut off these longer stems just so that the plant stops trying to produce those giant stems down here and diverting nutrients to them. And that'll allow it to grow a little taller and allow it to send more nutrients into these stems up here that you want to promote the growth of. Well, that's basically good. It's real simple trim. And you can see this is all of the trimmings from the cilantro. And I mean, it smells good when you trim the plant. You can smell the cilantro. And yeah, I mean, that's enough for cooking for a day or two. I mean, if you like a lot, then you could just grind that up or cut it up with the scissors real fine and then send that to put that in your eggs or whatever the fuck you're cooking, like rice or whatever. Or, you know, it could last 2 days or so of that little amount. But as your plant gets bigger and you keep trimming it, you shouldn't have to go out and selectively just cut off a bunch of cilantro or parsley to have yourself something to cook with, some fresh herbs to season your food with. Normally, if you just trim your plant pretty regularly, every few days or so, or even like once a week, then you'll have a constant supply of cilantro and you won't fuck up your plant. If anything, you'll only be helping your plant get bigger and grow more leaves and get stronger. And these guys will last a while, but they do have a problem when it gets really hot. If they are really thin like this, they have a problem providing some shade, especially to the lower parts of the stem and whatnot. And all that heat can eventually dry out the plant, and especially when it's super hot out, and if it's really hot and humid, you go to water your plant, the water sitting up on the plant, on the stem and everything, combined with the humidity and the heat, will cause that to not really evaporate or nothing, and that'll sit there, make the plant too wet, it'll get too hot, it'll not breathe too well because, you know, it's kind of covered in water and probably dirt and whatnot from watering it. But also it can just start sizzling up those leaves and kill it. So when it gets really hot out, when it gets really hot and humid, you want to make sure that your plant is either bushy or it has at least some good shade throughout the day, and get just a bit of sunlight every day, because otherwise it will die once it gets too hot. But yeah, that's how you trim your cilantro plant or parsley. Either way, they both are the same as far as how they grow, basically identical. Yeah, have a good day. Come on, trying to end the video.